The great leaders are like the best conductors. They reach beyond the note to the magic of the players. Blaine Lee. If your goal is moderation, moderation is the key to everything that we do in life, to the conversations we have with our loved ones, to the way we interact with them, and especially in the context of Clubhouse, an audio-only social app. If you want to create conversations that matter on this app, moderation is the skill you need to learn. So much like the conductors of an orchestra, how do we lead the different people in our Clubhouse stages so that we can have better conversations on the app and outside of the app? That's exactly what we're covering on this week's episode of MasterTalk. Hi everyone, it's Brendan here from MasterTalk, your go-to channel to mastering your communication skills. And today we're talking about the art of how to moderate a room on Clubhouse. So let's get cracking. So what is Clubhouse and why does moderation matter so much on the platform? Clubhouse in a nutshell is an audio-only app where you can engage in conversations through rooms on the app and lead and discuss. That's essentially what Clubhouse is. And the reason why moderation matters is because there's so many people in a room, the mods, otherwise known as that, lead that interaction to make sure that the experience for everyone is that much better. So that's why moderating is so important, but also very tricky because you need to know how to read the energy in a room. You need to know how to balance conversation between different people. And that's why you need to master it, whether or not you want to invest time on Clubhouse, because it's a great medium for you to practice communication in the same way I've invested hundreds of hours moderating rooms and spaces since I've started, because I want to learn how to do this so that when I'm in the real world, it'll be much easier for me to lead conversation. So if that's something you're interested in, keep on watching. Number one, build a strong moderation team for constant feedback and support. Clubhouse is not a single player game. It is a multiplayer game. If you think you can moderate rooms on your own on the app, you probably could, but not for long. Teams are essential, not just from a sustainability perspective to keep yourself going for a long time, but also because it allows you to get the feedback you need to become a better moderator. That's why the first question I asked myself when I got on the app was, who do I respect and admire already in my network who are on Clubhouse that I can partner up with? And for me, those two people were Chris and Billy. They were two individuals that I already knew before I started on the app. I knew how dedicated they were to helping other people. So I started moderating a bunch of spaces with them so that we could learn the trick of the trade. So in the same way we built our mod squad, as we call it, you need to start doing the same thing with your spaces. And this doesn't just apply for Clubhouse, that applies in general. When you're constantly working on your communication skills, you need a team of individuals to help you. And there's 3 tests that you can use to figure out who's the right person for your team. Number 1 is what I call the value test. And Christo has a great definition of this, which is tell me something I don't already know. Are the moderators that you're choosing delivering value that's unique to them on the platform? That's what increases their ability to share ideas and to convey amazing messages to the audiences they speak to on the app. Number 2 is the edification test. Is another moderator on your team saying, hey, this person's phenomenal. We need to add them to our team so that they can speak out ideas as well. This moderator is great. That's number 2. And finally, number 3 is called the airport test. So the airport test goes something like this. Let's say me and you are working at the same company. And in that company, we do client engagements together. And on one of the flights that we're taking, the flight gets delayed, probably because of the weather. So let's say it gets delayed for 4 hours. We have 2 options. The first option is we have a conversation with each other. But the second option is we ignore each other and put our headphones on. So for you to pass the airport test, would I rather, or would you rather, have a conversation with me for that time or pretend I didn't exist? Cultural fit is everything. And in the context of Clubhouse, it's so important because you're spending a lot of time with these people. So ask yourself, every time you pick a moderator on your team, if we were the only 2 people in the room, and nobody else showed up, would we still want the conversation to keep going? And if you pass value, edification, and an airport test, you got yourself a solid moderation team to learn from and grow as well. Number 2, know the energy in the room. Clubhouse is a tricky medium because you don't see how people are reacting to you in real time. You just see images on a screen throughout the entire app. So it's very difficult for you to actually go, okay, how are people feeling in this space? That's why, as a moderator, you need to be cognizant of the fact that, hey, I want to make sure to be as inclusive as possible. And I also want to make sure everyone in my space gets the opportunity to talk. So your job is to say, when was the last time that Billy talked? When was the last time that Kat talked? When was the last time that Roger talked in this room? So you can constantly redirect the conversation back to them. Because remember, being a moderator doesn't mean you're an expert. It means that you're an expert in other people, understanding the unique strengths and weaknesses of your team and directing the flow of the conversation to those people. And that's what reading the energy of a room means. As you get better at moderation, you can start to understand how people are feeling just through the power of their voice. And over time, as you work your magic, as you lead conversations that matter on the app, you will be able to read the energy of other people in the space. And then the final part to that, which is in the context of energy, is have conversations off platform with the people who are attending your Clubhouse rooms. This could be a Zoom call, or people DM you on Instagram and say, oh my God, I loved your room. Get on a conversation with them outside of the app so that you can talk to each other, get to know each other, and then understand through those conversations who they are and what they're looking for from you. And finally, number 3, keep communication channels open off platform on Clubhouse. Here's the secret to being a great moderator on this platform. It's to actually have a back channel where you can talk to the moderators behind the scenes. So what does this mean? Let's say you're in a Clubhouse room. The difficulty, since you can't see anybody anymore, is you can't go, oh, Danny, you want to speak here? Or George, you want to speak over here? It doesn't work that way. So people constantly interrupt each other when they're in a room. But when you have a back channel with all the moderators, this could be a group chat on Instagram, this could be a group chat on LinkedIn, or really any social media you want. You can ask them questions in the chat and say, who wants to take this question? So that way when somebody answers in the back channel, you can go back to the room and say, oh, I see that Billy wanted to answer this question. Billy, what do you think of this? And then Billy can start answering. So on the front end, on the app, it looks like everything's going in flow. No one's interrupting each other. And that's why back channels are so important. So I would suggest creating 2 back channels. One for what I call all of the moderators in the room, and another back channel just for the head moderators in that space. So the head moderator is someone who manages all of the other moderators to make sure that people aren't butting in, to make sure everyone's heard. So you want to have 2 channels, one for everyone to see who wants to answer questions, and a second one where you're making decisions in a room. Where something happens, like a famous person enters the stage, oh, do we bring them up and answer them questions? Oh, when do we close out the room? Those decisions you have separate back channels for. So if you implement all of these tips, I think you'll be 10 steps closer to mastering the art of moderation on Clubhouse, but also in the real world. A good analogy I'd love to use to close out this video is, for me, moderating rooms on Clubhouse, or moderation in general, is like being a music conductor. And I think Pierre Boulez explains this so well in his quote. He says this. He says, great conductors don't play a single instrument. They understand the people in their orchestra, how they lead, how they absorb energy, how they think. And your job as the moderator, as the conductor, is to lead those individuals, to know the score, to know who they are, so that you can create a symphony of experiences for everyone else in the room. And I completely agree with Pierre on this, where if you want to be a great moderator, you need to know how to be a great music conductor. So conduct your Clubhouse rooms, conduct your organization, the people you speak to, so you can lead the best experiences for the audiences who have the privilege to be a part of your spaces. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of Master Talk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if you know somebody on Clubhouse who's interested in being a moderator, be sure to send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to moderating their way to stardom. See you next time, everyone. Take care.